Welcome to Beyond Curious, where the stories are unsettling, the nights are long, and curiosity can be dangerous. Stay curious, stay awake. This is where it begins.
The only reason I'm alive is because I didn't ignore the second knock. If it had only happened once, I would have blamed the pipes. But it knocked twice, slow, patient, from inside my brother's room. I was 15 that winter. My parents worked night shifts at the hospital, so it was usually just me and my older brother Evan in the house after dark. Except that night, Evan wasn't home. He'd driven 3 hours back to his college dorm that afternoon. I watched him pack. I watched him leave. I watched his taillights disappear at the end of our icy driveway. His room was empty. That's important. Our house was old, built in the 1940s, the kind with narrow hallways and vents that carried every sound. If someone coughed in the kitchen, you'd hear it in the attic. Around midnight, the power flickered during a snowstorm. Not unusual. The lights dimmed, came back, and the heater kicked on with that hollow metallic hum. I was in my room across the hall from Evan's, half asleep, scrolling on my phone. That's when I heard the first knock. 3 soft taps. Not on my door, on his. I frowned. Maybe the wood contracting in the cold. Old houses make noises. I'd grown up telling myself that. Then it happened again. 3 taps, clearer, deliberate. I sat up. The hallway outside my door was dark, except for the faint blue glow from the digital clock in the living room. I held my breath and listened. A dragging sound came next, like something heavy being pulled across carpet. Inside his room. My chest tightened. I told myself it was impossible. Evan wasn't there. The windows were locked. The alarm was set. I grabbed my phone and called him. It rang twice before he answered, annoyed. "Why are you calling this late?" I kept my voice low. "Are you home?" Silence. "What? No, I'm in my dorm. Why?" And right then, through the wall, I heard something fall, hard, like a chair tipping over. I nearly dropped the phone. "Someone's in your room," I whispered. He laughed at first. Thought I was messing with him. Then he heard it. Because whatever was in his room knocked again. 3 slow taps. My phone was pressed so tight to my ear it hurt. Evan stopped laughing. "That's not funny," he said. "I'm not joking." The dragging sound started again. Closer to the door this time. I didn't want to look. But I had to get to the front hallway to turn on all the lights. And to do that, I had to step into the corridor. His door was halfway down, closed. At least, it had been. When I opened my bedroom door, the air felt colder, and his door was cracked open, just an inch. Blackness inside. I swear I could hear breathing, not loud, just there, slow, wet. Evan was still on the phone, telling me to wake the neighbors, call 911, do something. I took 1 step into the hallway. The door to his room opened wider, not fast, just enough, as if someone inside had gently pulled it. I couldn't see a body, but I could see the shadow. It didn't match anything in the room. It was too tall, too narrow, and it was leaning slightly, like it was trying to look out at me. My body finally reacted. I ran outside barefoot into the snow, still clutching my phone, and didn't stop until I reached the neighbor's porch. Police came within minutes. They searched the house, every closet, every window, the attic, the basement. Nothing, no forced entry, no footprints in the snow leading to or from the house besides mine. Evan's room looked normal, except for one thing. His desk chair was overturned, and his closet door was open. He always kept it shut. The officers suggested stress, imagination, storm nerves. My parents believed them. But a week later, when Evan came home to grab more clothes, he noticed something we hadn't. The inside of his closet door had 3 shallow indentations in the wood, side by side, like someone had pressed their fingers into it from the inside. He doesn't stay over anymore, neither do I. The house is empty now. My parents sold it last year, but sometimes Evan calls me late at night, just to stay on the line while he falls asleep, because every now and then, he hears 3 slow knocks from inside his dorm room closet. I heard the knock before I heard the footsteps. That's the part that doesn't make sense, and it's the reason I don't stay anywhere isolated anymore. I was 20, house sitting for my older sister while she and her husband were overseas for 2 weeks. Their place wasn't a farmhouse. It was a renovated ranger cabin tucked deep in the woods of northern Idaho. One narrow road in, no streetlights, no close neighbors. Just dense pine trees and a lake about a mile east. During the day, it was beautiful. At night, it felt cut off from the world. I had their husky Luna to keep me company. She was usually calm, lazy even. Slept through storms, didn't react to much. That night was completely still. No wind in the trees, no insects humming, just this heavy, suffocating quiet. It was 11:12 p.m. I remember because I checked the time right after it happened. 3 knocks, slow, evenly spaced. They came from the front door, not pounding, not desperate, intentional. Luna's head snapped up before I even processed what I'd heard. Then she let out this low, unfamiliar growl, the kind that vibrates through the floor. I muted the TV. Silence flooded the room. "Hello," I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Nothing answered. No car engine, no gravel crunching. No shifting weight on the porch. Just the trees. Luna moved toward the door, stiff-legged, ears pinned back. Not barking, not yet. Just watching it. Waiting. I turned on the porch light. The light spilled out across the wooden deck and the dirt path leading to the road. Empty. The motion sensor didn't trigger. No shadows moved. No sound of someone walking away, but those knocks. They were solid, close, knuckles on wood. I didn't open the door. Every instinct told me not to. Instead, I locked the deadbolt and checked the back entrance. Windows, sliding glass door, everything secure. Luna wouldn't leave the entryway. She stared at the door like something was breathing on the other side. I barely slept. The next afternoon, I mentioned it to a man named Carl, who owned the only other cabin down the road. He'd lived there year-round for decades. When I described the knocking, his face went tight. He asked what time. "About 11:12, I said. He nodded slowly, too slowly. Then he told me something I wish he hadn't. Around 11, he'd been outside stacking firewood. Said the woods were dead quiet, unnaturally so. No owls, no wind, no distant traffic from the highway miles away. Then he heard someone walking, not on the road, through the trees. Heavy steps, measured, breaking twigs, coming from the direction of my sister's cabin. He thought it was me at first, maybe taking the dog out, but the steps didn't sound casual. They were deliberate, steady. They reached the clearing between our properties and stopped. Carl said he waited to see a flashlight beam or hear a voice. Nothing. No retreating steps, no brush moving, just silence. Then his porch light flickered. He went inside and locked his doors. 12 minutes later, I got the knocks. That evening, I stepped outside to look around in daylight. The dirt around the deck was soft from rain earlier that week. That's when I saw them, footprints, deep impressions leading out of the tree line, up the small slope, across the yard, onto the deck steps. They ended directly in front of the door. I felt my stomach drop, because there were no prints leading back, no turn, no shift in the dirt, just one trail, coming from the woods, stopping at the door. I stared at that spot for a long time, trying to tell myself the wind had erased the others, but the soil everywhere else was undisturbed. I went back inside slowly, locked the door, and that's when Luna started growling again. Not at the door this time. Behind me, at the dark hallway leading to the bedrooms. I didn't finish the 2 weeks. Packed up the next morning and left a note for my sister to come home early. I never told her about the footprints, or about how Luna refused to walk past the hallway that night. Sometimes I replay it. The footsteps through the trees, the stopping point between cabins, the gap in time, the 3 measured knocks. And I can't shake the thought that the reason there were no footprints leading away is because whatever reached that door never needed to leave.
The scariest part about the night someone entered our house wasn't the noise, it was the breathing. Because whoever it was stood outside my bedroom door for almost a full minute, and they didn't try to hide the fact that they were there. I grew up in the same house my whole life, small town, quiet street, the kind of neighborhood where people forget to lock their doors because nothing ever happens. Our house was old though, not falling apart, but old enough that you could hear the floors complain when someone walked across them. Long hallway, bedrooms at the back, living room and kitchen toward the front. If someone moved through the house, you heard it. And when I was younger, I started hearing things that nobody else seemed too concerned about. The first time I remember it clearly, I was about 13. It was early afternoon in the summer, bright outside. The living room windows were open and the warm air was drifting through the curtains. I was home alone watching TV with our dog sleeping across my feet. Everything felt normal. Then the ceiling above me creaked. Not the random popping sounds houses make when the weather changes. Actual footsteps, slow ones. The sound started above the living room and moved across the upstairs hallway. Creak, pause, creak. I muted the TV. The steps kept going. Someone moving from one bedroom toward the next. I checked my phone. Both of my parents were still at work. My older cousin, who stayed with us sometimes, was out. No one should have been home. The dog raised its head and stared at the ceiling. That's when I felt that tight feeling in my stomach. Animals notice things before people do. I waited for the footsteps to stop, but they kept going all the way to the far end of the hallway upstairs. Eventually, I forced myself to go check. The staircase creaked under my feet as I climbed up. At the top of the stairs, the hallway stretched out in front of me. Bedroom doors, bathroom, closets, all quiet. I checked every room. Nothing. Windows closed. Closets empty. No one there. Later that night, I mentioned it to my stepdad. He shrugged and said the same thing everyone says about old houses. Floors shift sometimes, but the sound I heard had weight to it, like someone actually walking. A year later, something else happened that I never told anyone about until much later. It was the middle of the night. The house was completely quiet. No TV, no air conditioner running, nothing. I was lying in bed, half asleep. My bed sits high off the ground. There's a big empty space underneath it. I was just starting to drift off when I noticed something. At first it sounded like air moving. Then I realized what it actually was. Breathing, not mine. It was coming from the far side of the bed. From underneath. Slow, in, out, in, out. I froze instantly. I didn't even turn my head. I just stared at the dark ceiling while listening. The breathing kept going. Calm, steady, like someone lying perfectly still on the floor beneath the mattress. I tried convincing myself it was something else. Air in the vents, my imagination, anything. But the sound was too clear, too rhythmic. After what felt like forever, it stopped, just like that. Silence. I didn't look under the bed that night. I stayed awake until morning. A few years passed without anything major happening. Little things here and there, doors shifting, objects in slightly different places. The kind of stuff people ignore because it's easier than thinking about it. Then last summer something happened while someone else was in the house with me. My cousin had come over to stay for the weekend. It was late evening and we were in the kitchen messing around, filming stupid videos on her phone and laughing. Music playing softly. The back door was open, letting in warm air from the yard. Then there was a violent bang from the side of the house. It sounded like someone had slammed into the metal shed beside the garage. Both of us went completely silent. Then another bang, louder, the sound of metal rattling, like someone grabbing the door and shaking it. We walked carefully to the front window and looked outside toward the driveway. Nothing, no car, no person. The yard lights illuminated the fence and the empty grass. But our dog was outside near the back corner of the yard, barking nonstop at something we couldn't see. We searched the shed with a flashlight. Everything was exactly where it should have been. No damage, no sign anyone had been there. After that night, my stepdad installed security cameras around the house. For months, nothing happened. Not a single weird noise, not a single unexplained movement. Then the cameras stopped working. The batteries died and no one noticed. And that's when the worst night happened. I was alone that evening. My family had gone out of town and wouldn't be back until late. I didn't mind being alone. I had music playing quietly in my room and the window open. My bedroom overlooks the back patio. At some point, I heard something outside. A scraping sound, like a chair dragging across the concrete. Then a dull thump. I assumed something had fallen over in the wind. But then I heard the sliding door, the soft, grinding sound of glass moving along its track. Then the click of the handle. My stomach dropped instantly. I turned toward my bedroom doorway and listened. The house went completely quiet. Then came the footsteps, inside, moving slowly across the kitchen floor, not rushing, just walking, deliberately. I stood up and quietly turned the lock on my bedroom door. The footsteps moved down the hallway, closer, closer, then they stopped, right outside my room. Everything went silent. I stood there staring at the door. That's when I heard it, breathing, right on the other side of the wood. Slow, controlled. Someone standing there, waiting. My heart was pounding so loud I thought they could hear it. The breathing continued for several seconds, then it moved away, footsteps retreating down the hallway. A moment later, I heard the sliding door again, then nothing. I stayed locked in my room until my aunt and uncle arrived after I called them. They searched the entire house, the yard, the shed, the street. Nothing. No open windows, no forced locks. No sign anyone had been there. A few weeks later, I was talking to a friend on a video call. My bedroom door was open and the hallway light was off. While we were talking, I suddenly heard something down the hall. I told her to stop talking. We both listened. At first, it was just the bathroom door moving slightly because the window was open. Then we heard it, a light switch, click, then silence, then several rapid clicks, like someone flicking the switch up and down repeatedly. Then it stopped again. A minute later, click. My friend heard it through the phone. We both just stared toward the dark hallway. I finally got up and shut my bedroom door, locked it. Not long after that, my family came home. I didn't tell them, they already knew what they'd say. There are other strange things that have happened in that house. For a while, we had several framed pictures hanging in the spare bedroom downstairs. Every morning, they'd be off the wall. Not broken, not scattered, just standing upright against the baseboard, like someone had taken them down carefully during the night. Another strange thing involves the large front window in the living room. Anyone who's ever slept on the couch beneath it has told the same story. They dreamed about someone standing outside, a tall figure on the sidewalk, just staring in through the glass. Some of those people had never even heard anyone mention it before. One night, I fell asleep on the couch with our dog. Around 3 a.m, he woke me up whining. I sat up and watched him slowly walk toward the hallway. He began growling, low and deep. Then suddenly he barked at the dark end of the hallway like someone was standing there. After that, he ran back and curled up beside me shaking. I checked the hallway. Nothing there. The last strange thing happened during a sleepover. A friend of mine stayed the night. Around 1 in the morning, I got up to use the bathroom. My cousin's bedroom door across the hall was slightly open. Inside, sitting on a chair near the window, was a doll, facing the doorway, watching the hallway. It creeped me out enough that I warned my friend not to stare at it when she got up next. When she came back, she looked confused. "What doll?" We walked back together. The chair was empty. I still live in that house. Most nights are quiet, normal. But every once in a while, when the house is completely silent, I'll hear footsteps moving slowly down the hallway outside my room. They always stop at the same place, right in front of my door. And sometimes, if I hold my breath long enough, I can hear someone breathing on the other side.
If those stories unsettled you, good. There's another waiting on your screen right now. Subscribe if you're curious enough to continue. Stay curious. Stay awake.